From the SNC World Headquarters in New York, I'm Haley Bianco, and here are the stories we're following at this hour. Hundreds of ballots have been destroyed after fires were set in ballot drop boxes in Portland, Oregon, and in nearby Vancouver, Washington. Clark County Auditor Greg Kimsey in Vancouver calls it a direct attack on democracy. Authorities are investigating.
Man, he's for the people. I mean, the guy's risking his life. He's been shot at. He's taken a bullet for America.
I'm horrified. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed.
In the final week of a grueling U.S. election campaign, both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are facing off with an extensive schedule of rallies. It follows major events for both candidates that have drawn crowds in the tens of thousands in Houston for Harris and New York for Trump. Republicans are now trying to get more Amish Americans to the polls in Pennsylvania. In swing state Pennsylvania, most people in the Amish community don't register to vote, but a small minority have voted, about 10% of their population. There are currently about 92,000 Amish in Pennsylvania. In 2020, about 3,000 Amish people voted in the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area and several hundred elsewhere. With just over a week to go until Election Day, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have been crossing the country, making their final pitches to voters.
He's the only one in the race right now with an actual agenda and actually discussing the issues and the topics Americans want to hear.
People really need to get together to fight the ever-growing fascism.
The latest polls indicate the race is still effectively a dead heat. And as our correspondent Jagruta Dave reports, it's the battleground states that will ultimately decide the winner.
Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris ended the weekend with rallies, but while the Republican chose to hold his at the iconic Madison Square Garden in the thus far solidly blue state of New York, Kamala Harris picked the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania. Now, on Saturday in Michigan, another swing state, Donald Trump tried to reach out to Muslim voters, disillusioned with the White House over its approach in the Middle East. And while Donald Trump made his closing argument in his hometown on Sunday, Kamala Harris will be making hers on Tuesday at the Ellipse here in Washington, D.C. Now, more than 38 million people have already cast their ballots, but according to the polls, Trump and Harris are neck and neck in the 7 swing states that will determine the result of this race.
The UK's finance minister has joined U.S. counterpart Janet Yellen and 6 other Western colleagues in warning Israel not to let a key part of the Palestinian banking system collapse. Stuart Smith has more from London.
The letter, signed by ministers from Canada, Japan, France and others, warns further destabilization could be on the way if a key international payment system isn't extended by Tel Aviv. Israel is worried the current system facilitates international payments to terrorists, but not renewing the correspondent bank relationship would also threaten $13 billion in trade ties between Israel and Palestine. The deadline for renewal is October 31st. If the system isn't renewed, the joint letter warns economic collapse could be the result for the West Bank, as without it, international trade and donations become very difficult.
Taiwan said on Sunday that Chinese warplanes and warships had carried out another combat patrol near the island. Beijing has threatened to take countermeasures in response to a $2 billion arms sale package by the United States. Laura Westbrook has more from Hong Kong.
Taiwan's defense ministry said it had detected 19 Chinese military aircraft carrying out a joint combat readiness patrol in conjunction with Chinese warships starting on Sunday morning. Now, Beijing has been ramping up its military activities around Taiwan to put pressure on the island it claims as its own to be reunited by force if necessary. And Beijing has strongly condemned a $2 billion arms sale package to Taiwan from the US, and that would include an advanced air defense missile system that's been battle tested in Ukraine. Laura Westbrook in Hong Kong for Salem News Channel.
And that's what you need to know at this hour. In New York, I'm Haley Bianco, Salem News Channel.